Good day everyone, my name is Johanna Christine and in this occasion I would like to present my understanding regarding to the topic 11 and 12 of Introduction to Discourse Analysis entitled Discourse and Power. So in this occasion we would like to see what is the relationship between discourse and power. But beforehand we have to comprehend about critical discourse analysis. So firstly, I will explain you what is this critical discourse analysis. So critical discourse analysis plays important role in the relationship between discourse and cultures. This approach, this approach focus on the societal problem, especially in discrimination. So it is detecting such problems and to understand the essence of these societal problems. Critical discourse analysis pays much more attention to the power relations and ideology which are precipitated in discourse and force the reader or listener to perceive reality in a specific and in a biased way. So critical must have the aim of empowering the minorities groups or the powerless groups. And then the history of critical discourse analysis. Critical discourse analysis is as old as discourse itself. The first publication is in the term discourse and in advertisement was analyzed with suggestion for two approaches. The first one is internal cohesion relations, and then the second one the correlation with society and culture. Then the last approach flourished in the socio-semiotic framework, which discourse is seen as a vehicle of a meaning in a social context. So after that we have to understand some terms and basic tools. So the first basic term is critical. Critical means that an analysis cannot be neutral or free of values. So that when we criticize something, it is not necessarily that there is no values in them. There is no values in that discourse. There must be a value that in that discourse, so that it is the critics does. I would like to explain more about discourse. The term discourse means a form of social action. Discourse is a form of social action or a political act that can be criticized. And how does this critical analysis work? So most analytic work is inspired by stylistics with the central question, why is a given content formulated in the way it is and not in another possible form. So as a critics we have to investigating why does a particular content formulated in a specific or um, in a particular way and not in another possible forms. And then an example of critical discourse analysis is in a citation of newspaper. I will read for you. Britain invaded by an army of illegals. Britain is being swamped by a tide of illegal immigrants, so desperate for a job that they will work for a pittance, slaving behind beds, cleaning hotel rooms, and working in kitchens. So the citation of newspaper is considered as strongly racist. Why? because the war metaphor in the headline signals this explicitly. Why not British get support from the foreigners? Or many foreigners want to live in Britain. And the phrase work work for a pittance means and implies that immigrants want to take the jobs from the British native British workers. So critical discourse analysis indicates how this rendition of reality provides a negative image of poor foreigners. And this critical discourse analysis fight for discrimination. But still, no matter how understandable in the light of social abuses, can be criticized itself. So, and then the next point that we have to understand about discourse and power is critical discourse studies. Critical discourse analysis, along with critical discourse studies, which is a problem-oriented interdisciplinary research movement, or schools or fields. So critical discourse analysis and critical discourse studies study language and other semiotic systems in use and subsumes a variety of approaches, each with different theoretical models, research methods, and agenda. So this study aimed to examine critically the relationship between language, ideology, power, and social structure. So this is the relationship between discourse and power. This is the point. So critical discourse analysis and critical discourse studies see and investigate and examine the critical relationship between language and ideology and power and social structure. By critically studying discourse, it will emphasize the way in which language is implicated in issues such as power and ideology, so that it can determine how language is used and what effect it has, and how it reflects, how it serves and furthers the interests, perspectives, and values of those who are in power. Critical discourse analysis and critical discourse studies often focus on the study of capitalism, focus on the theme of capitalism, globalization, neoliberalism, nationalism, language planning, the analysis of teaching materials, policy documents, and even environmental or climate change discourse. An example of this critical discourse analysis and critical discourse studies research is a study by Babai and Seki in 2018, entitled Traces of Neoliberalism in English Teaching Materials, a Critical Discourse Analysis, which this article analyzed neoliberalism, neoliberal ideology, and fight back against them. And this article also shows how neoliberal thinking is manifested in textbooks and how it shapes the learners in viewing the world. So that it is the important role of discourse, which we see the relationship between language, between the use of language and the issues such as ideology and societal problems, and the important role of discourse and critical discourse analysis is to fight and to save the minorities groups or the minorities groups. So that's all my understanding regarding the discourse and power topic. I hope that it will be understandable. Thank you very much for your nice attention. See you in the next topic.